Everyone, welcome. My name is Katherine Farrar, and have the privilege of being on the admissions team here at Sloan and oversee our Master of Business Analytics program, our Master of Finance, and our MBA early offering. In addition to some of the other programs that were touched on in that video, we hope you enjoyed that. I think it's a great way to share a little more about what you'll find here when you get to Sloan and the community that you'll find here as well. But today I'm going to be focusing on our Master of Business Analytics program specifically. And as my colleague shared in the chat, if you have questions, please use the Q&A function to submit those. We'll do our best to try to get to all of them, and we'll save some time at the end to answer a few live as well. But with that, go on to the next slide. So we first like to kick off talking about our mission. It's core to everything we do here at the Sloan School. We are educating students to fulfill this mission, which is develop principled, innovative leaders who improve the world and generate ideas that advance management practice. You'll find opportunities to build skills within this, or within aspirations of this mission through different electives that you take and through different organizations and student activities that you might become a part of once you're a student here at Sloan. And then in addition, I'd like to highlight too, as you're thinking about, this program and maybe submitting an application, when you're writing your essays and other pieces in the application, think about past experiences that, may have used pieces of this mission and how you've applied it to what you've done to date that align with the goals of this mission. So our portfolio programs, we also like to share this slide too. To show that you would be coming to the Master of Business Analytics program, but you're going to be exposed to students in a variety of programs here at Sloan. So we have Masters of Finance, as I mentioned, the MBA program, our Leaders of Global Operation program, our Sloan Fellows MBA, our Executive MBA, and our Master of Science and Management Studies. So you'll have an opportunity to really build a network and get exposure, not just to folks who are going to be a part of the Masters of Business Analytics, but take classes and participate in extracurriculars with students across the degree programs here at Sloan. And so on this slide, I'd just like to highlight, this is a full-time program. It's 12 months. It's a rigorous quantitative degree focused on applying the tools of modern data science to solve real-world problems in business and society. It's for someone, you don't necessarily have to come from a STEM background, but we do like to see that you have comfort with quantitative focuses. So have a strong background in mathematics, computer science, and statistics is helpful. And I do want to highlight too that it's 3 semesters, so you have fall, spring, and summer with this program. So what is business analytics? For those who are early in their research, it's an approach to solving problems that starts with data. You build models and arrive at decisions that create value for the organizations that you will be in. And again, just highlighting, it's a full-time 12-month program. Some ask if it's part-time, but at MIT, we don't offer part-time programs. So 12 months full-time. And you again are applying tools of modern data science, optimization, machine learning. This program is also in close partnership with MIT's Operation Research Center, which is a discipline of applying advanced analytics methods such as optimization, statistics, machine learning, and probability to help make better decisions that impact society and the world positively. Again, tying back to our mission. And again, it's a rigorous curriculum in terms of quantitative skills. And so there's a lot of different electives that you can choose from that will spin out with those and close ties to computer science and electrical engineering at MIT as well. And I'll touch more on the Capstone action learning component here in a little bit. But here is an overview of the curriculum that you'll find over these 3 semesters. And then you'll see in the middle there, winter semester during January. It's called IAP, Independent Activities Period. It's MIT-wide. It's an opportunity to do different focuses outside of just regular coursework, but with the business analytics program, you'll be kicking off your capstone review and putting together your team and meeting with companies. Again, I'll go further into what Capstone project is. It is a highlight of the business analytics program. We added a couple of new courses on here as well, but you can go on our website as well to dive a little deeper into the curriculum and learn specifics. And then I just like to highlight the analytics faculty. We're very lucky to have some world-class faculty here at Sloan, and you will have an opportunity to potentially do research assistantships with these faculty members. I'll touch on that more here in just a minute as well. So MBAn students can apply to be a research assistant with the MIT faculty member of their interest in the fall or spring semesters. It is an application through them. It's not through the admissions office. So that's something that you would do once you're here and matriculated on campus. It's a commitment of about 10 hours per week, and it does help offset your tuition, and you get about $13,000 per semester. And then here are some examples of research that students have done with faculty. We just like to share this if you'd like to look at some of them. It does go across a variety of focuses and industries: sustainability, healthcare, and transportation. And so the Analytics Capstone project, it is, again, a hallmark of the business analytics program. It begins in January and runs through August. It's a 10-month project. It's 24 units. You are in a team of two. You work on a real life data science problem with a company over a course of 7 months. And you have a dedicated team of MIT faculty and PhD team to help support you during this time. Basically, you're kind of working with this company in kind of a consulting role, helping them scope out and identify issues. You meet with them at least once a week. Then you have a full-time summer work experience with the company over the summer in person. And it's a $22,000 tuition offset as well, and you are provided a small living expense during the summertime. And then at the end, for this program, that students do graduate in August each year. So you come back to campus, you complete a final written report, and as well as a presentation with the host company, and you present this at what's called the Capstone Showcase at the end of August before your graduation. This is a great opportunity to have an immersive experience and to work on site. You get real world experience in the field of data analytics and data science. It's a great resume builder as well. And here are some of the companies that students participated in last year and this year. As you can see, it is a lot of recognizable companies that span a variety of industries. So there's a lot of different areas of interest that you could be participating in on these projects. And then here are some sample capstone topics as well. And I will just give a little plug that there is a component of the Capstone Showcase that is live streamed each year. We will be posting this on our website, so just stay tuned to our admissions events page. I think it's going to be August 15th this year. So if you'd like to see some of the presentations live, you can join that. So career support. When you come to study with us, we know it's very important not only to learn about a specific industry, but also find an interesting competitive job. So our career development office really partners with students before they even matriculate to help you kind of develop a plan and better understand what it means to work within data science or analytics or product management, or like whatever your interest might be for this program. Folks coming into this program are early career. We see people coming in who have primarily just internship experience. So there's a lot more structure into supporting students in this program. You'll receive a dedicated career advisor who will work closely with you throughout the program and help you identify what you might want to do and develop a plan for your job search. I will highlight that we have a career core that's built into the first semester, and it's meant to help prepare you for your job search as well through workshop group sessions, building your LinkedIn resumes, all the way through helping you negotiate your offer letters as well. So there's a lot of support and networking opportunities that the Career Development Office here at Sloan provides for students within this program. And here's just an overview of some of the comprehensive career services. And we do have industry speaker nights that are MIT and Sloan-wide, opportunities for students all around to join. There's also opportunities to connect with alumni as well in different industries and connect with them to help you in your job search. And so this is just to share some sample job titles. Some people earlier on are, what does someone with a business analytics degree go into? So you can see that under the sample job titles. Of course, data scientist is one of the most popular focuses to go into, but there's a wide range. Machine learning engineer, operations analyst, product analyst, portfolio manager, and other titles that you can see there. And then these are some of the companies that our students have gone into after they graduate. And again, you can see it spans a wide variety of industries and focuses. If you'd like to, you can go online and look at our employment reports, and you can see greater detail and breakdown. But this slide just highlights the average base salary from our most recent employment report, and some of the locations where students have accepted jobs within the US. Over around 90%, 96.5, or 95.6%, excuse me, have accepted jobs here within the US. And then 18.6% of students actually were able to secure their job through Capstone companies. And here's an overview of the MBAn class profile for 2025. I like to share this just to highlight some of the backgrounds that students come from. You can see it's not just STEM focuses. So again, it's not a requirement to come from a STEM background, just be comfortable with quantitative skills. 40% women. The average GPA is 3.92. We have the average GRE on here because that's the test that most students decide to submit, or applicants, excuse me. So that's the best data that we have, but we don't have a preference between the GMAT GRE or GMAT Focus. And then you'll also see, like, to highlight the time of work experience is around 8 or 15 months average work experience. That does include internships. I just like to highlight this slide too with the various clubs that some of our students in the business analytics program participate in, because you do have a wide variety of extracurriculars open to you as a student here in data science and analytics and beyond. Student clubs are a really great tool to give you exposure to different types of industries, build relationships with alumni, and also with potential companies. So a lot of these clubs do secure company executives to come and speak who might be looking to hire students. So there's a lot of great opportunities to participate in once you get here. There's some conferences as well that can also help you get industry exposure and partner with industry practitioners coming to campus and speak at these. So they're great to get involved with and build relationships, and can certainly lead to employment opportunities. So moving on to our application, I will highlight that we have not released the new application yet for this cycle, but the deadline is set. So it's going to be January 5th, and it will be coming out very soon for business analytics. So please stay tuned. But do have some components here that I'll review quickly. We have the one-page resume. You should include, relevant awards, scholarships, professional societies, in addition to, extracurricular community activities, any research experience, or maybe, obviously internships or any teaching assistantships are helpful to share here as well. And then we have our essay questions, a 500-word limit for this past year. That could be changing, but I'll speak to what we had for this past cycle. And then within that, why are you pursuing this program, and what you hope to gain from joining the Master of Business Analytics program. We have a short answer question as well, how the world shaped you. And it's an opportunity to expand on your background and how that has helped you grow and develop. We have 3 letters of recommendation that are required. For those who are current students, we ask that you submit 3 academic letters of recommendation. One must come from someone who can speak to your quantitative abilities. For those who might be working full-time, please submit 2 letters of from academic sources, excuse me, and 1 from a professional or a recent employer. We don't accept letters of recommendation from family members, so just a note there for those who might be in family businesses. And then academic transcripts, of course, 2 video questions. So the first one is a 60-second time frame. It's an opportunity to introduce yourself to future classmates. And the second question is a randomly generated open-ended question. You have 10 seconds to prepare, and then a 1-minute response for that. And they're very easy questions. It's nothing you need to worry about preparing for in advance. It's just to kind of assess your communication ability. And then, of course, relevant coursework and professional certifications, you can share those if you have them, not required. But if you took any online coursework or have a CFA or something like that, it's helpful to share that there. And again, as I mentioned, for test scores, we accept the GMAT, GRE, and GMAT Focus, and we really don't have a preference between the three. And interviews are required. They are conducted online, so virtually through Zoom. And you will have some questions beforehand that we will submit to you. They change year to year, but you will have time to prepare for those before your interview. Right. So I know we went through that quickly. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Absolutely. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Steve. I'm also a part of the admissions team here. Katherine, thanks so much for going through a lot of the information regarding the MBAn program. I do have a few questions that I wanted to run past you, but you know what? I'll give you a quick break. I know you just talked for a little bit, so feel free to take a sip of water. There were a few questions that came through that were reoccurring, and I'm happy to address those as well. So, a couple of questions off the bat that came in regarding the application components. As Catherine mentioned, we will have more of an app tips webinar coming up later regarding the program itself, but I'm happy to touch on a few aspects as well. So first and foremost, there were a lot of questions about if the GRE or the GMATs are mandatory for this program. And the answer is no, they are not. They are optional, and you can submit your scores if you so choose. Then the next question in your mind might be, okay, well, if it's optional, what's the benefit of submitting scores versus not? Well, the benefit and or how that's calculated is that if you have a score that you are proud of and you feel is a strong representation of your analytic skills, then by all means, we think that that's a good opportunity to submit that score. However, if you choose to not submit a GRE or a GMAT score, that will not negatively impact your application. What we will do instead is we will look at the data points that you've submitted with your application and make our decision based off of those data points. So by just not including a test score, that all that means is that we would just have one less data point. But if you still feel strongly about your application with those other points, that's completely fine. The other question that came through was just in regards to our deadlines themselves and if there is any benefit to applying early if we have a rolling status. And that the answer to that is no. We actually do not look at applications until after the deadline has passed. So really utilize as much of the time as you need to craft what you think is the strongest application that you can possibly make. Once you feel that it's at its strongest, that's when I recommend that you hit the send button on that application. And then from there, all of our applications are jumbled together. There's no indicator of time. Those that applied early don't get first preference in terms of reading. Everything is kind of pooled together for our readers to look at. But with that said, I do have a couple of questions that did come through. Catherine, now that you've had a little bit of a break to,
Thank you, Steve.
of course. So one question that came through is actually centered around the program. Somebody wanted to know if having an internship during their undergraduate program is mandatory to be admitted into the MBA program, or sorry, the MBAn program.
Great question. It is not mandatory. Actually, no work experience is required as part of your application to be a candidate for this program. However, we do like to see leadership experience. But that doesn't necessarily have to be through an internship or full-time work experience. It can be through extracurriculars if you were president of club, or you were a teaching assistant or a research assistant in your undergraduate studies as well. Those can be great ways to showcase that. But again, it's not required.
Excellent. Okay, great. I know there are a lot of questions regarding the application components to the degree itself. I will just say again that we will have another session later on in the fall that will go into a deeper dive about the components themselves. I love that folks are thinking ahead in regards to that. Although there is this one question I think that folks do have in mind is that what if there are, in your experience, Catherine, extracurricular activities that you have seen or examples of that folks dive into that are common occurrences on applications?
Thanks. Yeah, another great question. Really, like when you're looking at choosing extracurriculars, choose something that you're passionate about. Because if you're just choosing it because you think it'll help build your resume or your candidacy for the program, you're not really interested in it, that's really going to show for us as we're looking through it. So that's the my biggest piece of advice for that. But as I said, we are looking for leadership experience in some ways, an example. So certainly participating in extracurriculars and getting those leadership roles can be helpful in showcasing that in your application. But it doesn't necessarily have to be data analytics focused.
Perfect. All right, excellent. Now, some of our folks in the audience, and this is definitely a hot button topic as we talk about the different types of curriculum that we offer here at Sloan. Could you highlight if there are any opportunities for our MBAn students to get involved in the lovely world of AI and any AI related courses?
Yes, definitely. I know we went over it quickly, but one of the new courses that's being offered for those in business analytics is a deep learning course, and that's part of your core courses in the fall. MIT is very focused on AI, so you'll find that built into a lot of the coursework that we have here at Sloan and MIT wide. There's a lot of initiatives around it too. So there's some extracurricular student clubs, some research the faculty are working on. There's actually a lot of research the faculty are working on right now that's AI focused. So there's definitely opportunities to build and hone the skills in that area if that's what you're interested in.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much. Um, Now, in terms of other questions that have been coming through, sorry, as many folks are starting to fly through. So one question that I think folks wanted, this is a two-part question for you, Catherine. For those that are coming from a non-STEM background
Mhm.
for this program, would that particularly hinder one's application?
Definitely not. It's not a requirement to come from a STEM background for this program. We know when you get here, we're here to teach you and train you the foundations of data science and analytics. We are setting you up to be successful, leaving Sloan and going into the data science world. So we don't expect you to already have all those things under your belt once you arrive. However, we do want you to be comfortable with quantitative work because you will do computer programming. You will have, it's helpful to have some background in mathematics and statistics and calculus to do the coursework once you arrive here. So we do like to see that, either in your undergraduate work or if you choose to take some online coursework as well.
Excellent. All right, perfect. So let's dive into kind of the second part of that question is that for those that saw in some of the requirements, there are required courses that we are looking for within the program itself. Is it expected to have completed all of the required courses that are listed on the application?
Good question. It is not. It's certainly helpful to share as many of those as you can, but again, we're not looking for you to have the full list completed. It is, again, I will highlight the computer programming piece. Obviously, it's being data science analytics. Having familiarity with Python or Julia is definitely going to be helpful for you once you join the program.
Perfect. Great. There have been a few questions that have been coming through on the chat as well, just regarding years of experience. And I'm happy to take this to you, Catherine. I just want to get your 2 cents on it as well. For folks that I'd say that are on, let's say, the higher side of looking at 3 years worth of experience or beyond,
Mhm.
um, and how that kind of fits into this particular program for the amount of the profile that we normally see of folks having 0 to 2 years worth of experience, if that would negatively impact their application. What I would just say is that for this particular program, we are looking for those between 0 to 2 years worth of experience. That if you have more years worth of experience by the time of matriculation or coming into the program in August, we may have a conversation if there is a different program within our portfolio that might be a better fit for you. For example, our MBA program or some of our other offerings. Would you agree with that statement, Catherine?
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, maybe the MBA program might be better if you are looking to hone your skills in data science. We do have a certificate that allows you to focus and do a deeper dive within the MBA program for business analytics. But really, you want to think about when you're trying to decide the two programs is, the business analytics masters. is preparing you to go out into the world of data science. You're going to be going into more of an entry-level role. You're going to be building your leadership. There might be pieces that may not be applicable to you if you have a greater than 5 years of work experience or more. It may be redundant of what you're learning. So you want to think about the cohort you're going to be going into and what's going to be the most beneficial for you after you graduate.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, great. So I'm scanning through. I know we've got plenty of questions that have still been coming through, so please keep me honest in regards to that. One that is actually something I want to touch on is that for those that are, let's say, doing a research opportunity with a current professor, does that technically count as full-time experience at this point?
It would count as part-time experience or an internship. So that would be absolutely something to include on your resume and share with us. I think it's if you're 4 months or greater, then it would count as full-time work experience. But if not, if it's less than that or under 30 hours a week, that's part-time.
Perfect. Catherine, in terms of numbers, as we kind of look at the class profile, so the first one I'll happily take for you. There were some questions regarding if someone didn't fall into, let's say, the average or the median range of things like their test scores, our GPA, or anything along those lines, if they should hold off applying until they meet those criteria. To that, I would say no. There's the median GPA that we have is not a be all end all. That is just the median. If we have folks that fall outside of that range, that is completely fine in doing so. What I would just recommend to you is making sure that you feel or finding ways to create a strong application and submit that based off of the experiences that you personally have. But for you, Catherine, I'm not sure if we have these statistics on hand, but would you be able to comment on the popularity of this program, whether it be the amount of applications we receive per seat or how many are accepted into the program?
Yeah, because it varies year to year. We don't share how many are accepted, the percentage of acceptance rate, because it does change. So we don't want to set expectations or disappoint. But as far as the applications we receive each year for the program, it's generally, can range between 15 to 2,000 applications every year. And there's 80 seats that we usually try to stick with for this program. So you can kind of do the math on that end.
Excellent. Perfect. So keep me honest, Catherine, how much time do we have left for questions?
We have about 10 minutes, so we have some time to cover a few.
Okay, perfect. Let me go through some of the questions that we've had coming through. Um,
I can quickly, while you're looking, I saw someone asking about the RE application process. Again, that'll be something that is handled directly through the professors you're looking to do the RE-ship with. So once you are matriculated and come on campus, you generally will take your first course semester and then look at participating in an RE-ship with professors. So it's something you would do later here once you're at Sloan.
Perfect. And actually, this is a good one that I think will a lot of folks would like to know about is that the program itself can seem very STEM focused and fast-paced program, but what are some common characteristics that set successful candidates apart in terms of either mindset or just going beyond their technical skills?
Yeah, no, great question. Again, like this program is very technical, but it's also we're hoping to build you as a business leader too. We want you to be able to have both sides of those skill sets. So someone who has leadership experience, someone who has an innovative mind thought, who enjoys the challenges of learning, and going past the status quo is important. And then also having a collaborative spirit, though. I think maybe it was mentioned in the video. The motto here of Sloanies helping Sloanies is a very collaborative environment. There's a lot of teamwork focuses in the curriculum and then the extracurriculars that you'll see here. You're broken down into teams. You're on a team with the Capstone project. So that's a huge component, and we look for that too in your application.
Great. And Catherine, would you mind just commenting on any fellowship or scholarship opportunities outside of the Capstone that might be associated with this program?
Yeah, great question. So every student who submits an application is automatically considered for merit-based fellowship funding. So you don't have to submit a different application. You will know once you receive your decision for the program if you've been awarded any fellowships. But again, you do have that $22,000 offset from the Capstone company time. And so that's really a great benefit of the business analytics program.
Perfect. And as I started to scroll back through and look through some of our other questions, I'll give you a quick break as well. One question that came through was, is there a heavy focus on healthcare in AI at MIT? Well, I'll say that it's slightly niche that we probably have a few classes that touch on healthcare and also AI involved with healthcare. What I will comment and I'll also mention is that at MIT Sloan, we have 7 different certificates that are available and open to folks across all of our programs. So one of those 7 certificates being in the space of healthcare. What are certificates? They're basically like what you could consider a minor from an undergraduate university, or honestly a roadmap of giving you an idea of how to take specific electives to focus in on a respective topic. So we have product management, analytics, finance, entrepreneurship as other examples of certificates. So that could be a good balance for you if you're really looking to take your career in that way and focus in on the healthcare space to take that particular certificate. But going back to the question that I had for you, Catherine, is someone was curious how our MBAn program or MBAn program differs from the Masters of Finance or even the Sloan MBA in terms of analytic intensity or career flexibility.
Yeah, no, another great question. So this program is for someone who's looking to go solely into data analytics, that's their passion. That's what they're looking to do long term for their career. Again, there's some of the leadership skills that you'll learn here as well for the program, because we think that that's very important for you to have as you go out into working for organizations. But we want you to be, at a pro level skill set of data science analytics. So that's the main focus of this program. The Masters of Finance, similarly, the main focus is going to be finance. It's going to be for someone who knows that, finance is going to be their career. For the MBA program, I think the difference is the MBA, you can certainly focus and specialize in certain areas. As Steve mentioned, there's those certificates that are open. But really, it's more of a generalized degree because you gain a wide variety of skills within that program. So if you're looking to, do maybe different career pivots during your time, an MBA can help you with that because it's more of a generalized degree.
Excellent. And this was a question that I wasn't familiar with an answer, but I'm just curious if you have any insight into as well. Is that for folks that have completed the MBAn program, do you normally see students that have a pathway into a PhD programs within MIT?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We do see a handful every year. Usually the students choose to do a thesis, a component, and certainly participate with the research assistantships, but we do see a handful each year that are interested in the PhD.
Excellent. Uh, Going back to the background of candidates coming into the program itself, for candidates that are not coming from a STEM background, are there any courses, certificates, or skills you recommend completing ahead of time to make their applications seem a little bit more complete?
Yeah, it's certainly up to your schedule and your capacity. But again, if you don't have strong comfort or familiarity with computer programming languages, Python at a minimum, that might be a great course to take online and brush your skills up on that one. And then, certain mathematics courses, calculus, statistics certainly would be helpful to take for this program as well.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. Let's see here as I go through. Still have plenty of questions that have come through, but I'm trying to find some that might attain or pertain to all that are involved as well. Um, oh, actually, could you give a little bit of insight into after the application component, moving on to the next part of our evaluation process, how that what those conversations are structured as and what folks can expect from the interview aspect?
Yeah, so it's a conversational interview. So they're going to be, reviewing your application, and their questions are going to come from that. They may ask you to elaborate and speak more to it. So, obviously being prepared on what you submitted for your interview, and then they do have some pre-interview questions that you will submit. They change year to year. They're technical questions, but that's something that you will have advance notice to prepare for, and be ready for by the time you get to your interview.
Perfect. And is there any, say, like the questions themselves, are they more quantitative focused, behavioral focused, a mixture of both?
Quantitative, yes. So the questions themselves are going to be more quantitative focused. The interviews more conversational behavioral.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, great. And I know that we're coming up on time, and I'm trying to see if there are any final questions that we have. Actually, one, I guess I'll go back to the application to kind of close us out, is that if for those that are coming from an undergraduate background, are those folks allowed to have two academic letters of recommendation and one professional letters of recommendation, or should it be a different skew?
Yeah, so if you are currently a college senior and you're looking to apply to this program or still in your studies, we do ask that you submit 3 letters of recommendation from academic sources. But if you are someone who is working full time at this point, it's fine to submit 1 professional letter of recommendation and 2 academic letters of recommendation.
Very good. All right, folks. I know that we have a number of interviews or a number of questions that have are still out in the chat. We've tried to get to as many as we could in our time, but I also want to be respectful of everyone's time as we kind of wind things down and talk about next steps. So, Catherine, over to you. That is going to be it for me for our Q&A portion.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for helping moderate. Great questions, everyone. As Steve mentioned, I know there's a bunch in here. I think we answered a good bit too, but the ones we didn't get to, please email us. We actively monitor the email that you see up here on the screen, and we'll get back to you quickly. We do have a number of events upcoming for this fall as well. Some topical webinars going over a variety of components for the business analytics, capstone, curriculum, things like that. So stay tuned to our admissions event site. And we'd love to see you there as well. And as Steve mentioned, we will be doing an app tips webinar specifically for the business analytics program later this fall. The application should be released later in August, so it'll be coming out shortly as well. So please stay tuned. Thanks everyone for joining and thanks for your time. Thanks, Steve and Morgan. Appreciate you.
Take care.